make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. More than power, power, never, ever, after work is over. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. Working never over. Working harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. Work it never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, do it faster. More than ever, our work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over.
Standing in the rain with his head hung low, couldn't get a ticket, it was a sold-out show. Heard the roar of the crowd, he could picture the scene, put his ear to the wall, then like a distant scream, he heard one guitar, just blew him away. He saw stars in his eyes, and the very next
We'll get started at 8 o'clock here, and we'll get into this crazy coaching carousel.
In a heavy downpour, thought he passed his own shadow by the backstage door, like a trip through the past. That day in the rain, and that one guitar made his whole life change. Now he needs to keep it rocking. He just can't stop. Gotta keep on rocking. That boy has got to stay on top and be a jukebox hero. Got stars in his eyes. He's a jukebox hero. Got stars in his eyes. Yeah, jukebox hero. Stars in his eyes. With that one guitar, he'll come alive tonight.
If you don't like this song, you just click off the video. Something's wrong with you. Yes, Deion Sanders as DC seems pretty reasonable. I think we should look into that. We looked into hiring him once. Why not again?
Just can't stop. Gotta keep on rocking. That boy has got to stay on top and be a jukebox hero. Stars in his eyes. He's a jukebox hero. Stars in his eyes. With one guitar hero. To put stars in his eyes. Now he's just a jukebox hero.
When they see me off in traffic, they say Jeezy on some other shit. Send them running straight back to the dealership.
I don't think any of this audio is coming
That's
through.
right, I work for
I could be
NASA.
wrong.
This 7H is not a fraud. Call that my bodyguard. Call that the bodyguard. Yeah, that's my bodyguard. Wear a lot of jewelry. Young don't do security.
Anyways, let's get to it. Hope you guys are having a great night tonight. Great Sunday night. We got to get back to work in the morning. Well, most of us do. If you're a Georgia fan, you probably don't have to worry about no job, but I hope you guys are having a great night. There is a ton, not just going on in the Georgia Tech circle, but I looked into just all of the movement in the coaching circles or in this coaching carousel. And maybe it's just that I haven't really paid that much attention to it in the past, but I mean, there's been like 10 big name schools that have had like DC's leave. DC's leave for the NFL, OC come from the NFL to college. It's crazy. So let's go through the chat real quick. We're still waiting on C-Dog to get in here. I've cracked the code for the next DC. Oh boy. We got Michael Butler in here, says go Jackets. What's going on, Michael Butler? T. Brent says we live. Yeah, I don't know when the last time I did a live show was. It's been a minute though. I have made some upgrades in here, so we'll see how that goes tonight. John Burns, as always, says, remember, winning ain't free. Send a check. Even if it's only $100, we need 40,000 fans sending a check every quarter. That would be $16 million annually, and that's never been more true than it is now. If you saw the video I put out, we're going to learn a lot about Georgia Tech. Depending on who we hire deep into this coaching cycle. So we're going to need every bit of money we can get. We'll see what Jay Batt can do for us here resource-wise. John Burns says, let's do this. WT7 says Jeff Collins has to be the true replacement. If we were to hire Jeff Collins as DC, I would just have transition surgery to becoming a female, because there's no point in being a man anymore if that reject, moron, embarrassment to the sport I love were to keep parading around as a man, whistling Stranger in Paradise in a men's locker room. All right. So I hope that makes that clear. Anthony Perez says we need to hire Nick Saban as DC. You didn't say his name right. You're talking about Alabama Jones. I'll never forget, man. That's one of the greatest moments in television history when he got put in his place by a comedian, Shane Gillis. You know, it turns out when Nick can't control everything like a czar or like a dictator, he tends to whine and complain a good bit. Ben Jones says, oof, this is a hurtful blow. Santucci did a hell of a job. Coach Key is slow to hire. Let's hope he can find a gym again. Hashtag Go Jackets. Yeah, we don't really have the luxury right now of probably being super slow to hire. Again, we're really late in the cycle. We have, when is National Signing Day? Like the second one. It's coming up in February, isn't it? Let's go look that up. I mean, this really couldn't have come at a worse time. It's the 5th. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. God, I can't believe I didn't even consider that when I made that video. So the final National Signing Day is this Wednesday. And your DC, who I'm sure is pivotal in the defensive recruits in this cycle, is gone, going to the Ravens, not even to become a DC. That would kind of make sense to me, to take a demotion to be a position coach in the NFL. I mean, it just, man, that hurts. Hurts. I don't know what you're saying, David. Far Rainer? I don't know what that means. WT7 says Deion Sanders. It's hilarious that every coach who's worth a crap that wants to go to the NFL gets a job, and no one wants to go to the NFL more than Deion Sanders right now. Can't find a job. Can't find a job. Interesting. Mystic, I'll be interested to see what code you've cracked tonight. Rambling on with Zach Jones says, yo, Jonathan Proctor says, WreckTalk notifications popped up. What a pleasant surprise on a Sunday night. Yeah, we're back at it tonight. Rambling on with Zach Jones says, I say promote Simpsons, save some money. I think Simpsons would be good at the job too. I can't disagree with that. George Smith says, hello. CJ in the house says, hello, everybody. And Zach Jones, member for 11 months, says, Tay Harris and Dalen Pinson, our top 2 defensive recruits, were both pretty upset on Twitter. That's huge. If we were to lose either one of them, that kind of wrecks. From Jukebox here. I got you, David. That kind of wrecks this class, man. Like, we need both of those guys badly. It kind of pisses me off a little bit at, now I can't even remember his name. Tyler Santucci. It's like, man, maybe this position didn't come up until now, but I mean, you're really putting us in a hell of a spot. He was slated to make $850,000 this year. So I imagine he's having to take a pay cut. He'd been in the college ranks a while, so he knows what's required time-wise, commitment-wise at the college ranks. It's just, damn, it sucks. Damn, it sucks. We are so back. So let me, Sea-Dog's in the house here. Let me add him in.
Hey.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
You're going no camera tonight?
Give me a sec. I'm trying to set it up.
It's fine. It's fine.
There's me.
All right, let me crank you up a little bit here. Keep
Dark.
talking to us.
In the dark.
So we're about to go over kind of the coaching carousel, and I watched your video, and the more, when I made mine, I wasn't all that upset. It's almost like I'm doing the stages of grief in reverse. Like, I hit acceptance first, and now I'm regressing into like denial and stuff. Because, National Signing Day, like the final one is Wednesday. Dalen Pinson, this is what Zach Jones was saying. Tay Harris were both upset on Twitter. We could
Yeah.
lose one or both of those guys over this so that this guy can go be a linebackers coach for the Ravens. He has to be taking a pay cut. He was slated to make $850,000 this year. Like, I don't get it, man. Like, why this late in the cycle and why to be a linebackers coach?
I have no idea. I mean, if not, it's either money, like either they're paying him more. Well, I don't know. What's the typical, like, do you know what the typical
All right, let's go look.
linebacker coach freaking pay in the NFL is?
What do what do position coaches make in the NFL? Looks like really good pay would be about $400,000. That would be kind of top
No
pay.
kidding.
So he'd be making half as much. Let's go for linebackers coach. Yeah, it's about the same thing. I mean, I hate to say it, it almost makes me think, was there some disagreement he had with Key, with the staff?
Yeah.
I mean, it just was really abrupt and just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, it could be that he just wants to go. A lot of people are saying too that like a lot of college coaches are going to the NFL, just because it's easier. You get time off.
Yeah, you have like an actual off season where not a lot is required of you. Speaking of that, let me just go through. I've got a list here of exactly what you're talking about. So if you didn't know, today, Ohio State has now lost both their coordinators. Chip Kelly, the OC for Ohio State, is leaving for the same job with the Raiders. I believe that was announced today. Obviously, we're talking about Santucci. Bama is hiring the Seahawks OC, Ryan Grubb, for the same position with Alabama. Notre Dame, Al Golden, we know, left. He's going to be the DC for the Bengals. Notre Dame hires former Rutgers coach and current talent scout for the Jaguars, Chris Ash, as their new DC.
Huh.
Virginia Tech hires Sam Seifkes from the Cardinals, who was a linebacker coach. Obviously, Virginia Tech fired Chris Marv after he sucked ass this year. Penn State is hiring Ohio State's DC Jim Knowles, which is wild to me.
That one's crazy. Wasn't there word on the street about Jeff Collins being potential defensive coordinator?
There was like a website that I saw that I don't know if it was a fan site or like one of these 247. It was like, hear me out, Jeff Collins at Virginia Tech. And I'm like, yes, please do. I mean, yeah. I don't know what else this guy could do to prove to you that he don't have a clue what he's doing. What else could he possibly do to prove that to somebody? But I guess there's some people that, anyways. Penn State's DC, Tom Allen, was hired as DC for Clemson, which is an interesting move. Another interesting move, USC hires Rob Ryan as their DC. He's got a ton of experience in the NFL. And the hilarious thing with that is his brother, who's Rex Ryan, who was coach of the Jets for some time, basically had a foot fetish OnlyFans with his wife and released this video where someone is filming someone like talking to his wife's feet that sounds just like Rex Ryan. So if you didn't know that, you do know that now. And also Miami fired Lance Guidry, and they've hired Corey Heatherman, who is Minnesota's DC. So a lot of movement, and honestly, the most movement I've seen in a long time from NFL to college to NFL. And I brought it up in my video. This is why I'm suspect on Bill Belichick. I just don't think he understands what he's signing up for, especially for basically a total rebuild at North Carolina.
I didn't hear that Miami had fired Guidry. That's crazy. Dang, did all this happen? When did all this happen?
So that went from most recent to least recent, but it's basically all happened within the last month. And that's what's tough for Georgia Tech is you've had most of this movement is defensive coordinators. So I'm not like, you're not going to be in the same ballpark of getting some of these guys that like Ohio State and Penn State are, but It's not great. Stan Garner says Tay Harris quoted a post by one of our coaches that said something like, "On to spring to start the grind," and
Yeah, I
said
got
what
that.
coach said.
I've got that pulled up.
Okay.
So, Coach Q, Quentin Jones says, junior days, next up, spring ball. And then Tay Harris says, what coach said? That was 9 hours ago. So,
Okay. Well, that's good.
that is good.
Have we heard anything from Dalen Pinson? Let me go look at his Twitter.
we're investigating the investigators.
Yeah, dude, we got this. Tay Harris just so February 1st, he has 2 emojis with someone with their hand over their face.
Yeah.
And then Dalen Pinson has an emoji with just like a stoic face. I feel like
that was yesterday.
We need
That was their
emoji
reaction.
analysis here. I don't know if you saw that South Park. We need some emoji analysis.
Yeah, that was their reaction to Santucci moving last night.
The more I think about it, dude, it's kind of a bitch move, and it's pissing me off. Like
it really sucks. Yeah.
Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
All right. Mindfish says Chip Kelly, current Ohio State OC, is reportedly being hired by the Raiders. Their DC also. Yep, we had talked about that. Lots of chaos. Ohio State's been gutted, dude, and that's crazy to see Ohio State, who's one of those blue bloods, top of the college football world perennially. Financially, they're the top of the world, and they're getting gutted like you would expect TCU, who made the national title, to get. It's
At least
crazy.
it's by the NFL. I mean, that's pretty much to be expected. And Penn State, I mean, which usually is not. I mean, getting gutted by Penn State or getting your coach stolen by Penn State is
in conference. Are they on the same side? Do they even have divisions anymore in the Big Ten? I don't even know.
No, they don't.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that doesn't matter.
But yeah, dude, that's wild. But I mean, that's understandable at least because Penn State dropped a huge bag. I don't understand.
3.1 million.
Defense isn't their problem. So why do they want this defensive coordinator? They need to drop more, if not, at least as much for their offensive coordinator.
Well, they dropped 3.1 million a year. I don't know what the length of the contract is for this guy. But yeah, I would have went out and gotten if you've got that kind of money, you can go get the best offensive coordinator in the country.
That's what you need at Penn State. Like, what are you doing going after defense? It makes no sense. But I mean, it's great. He's one of the best DCs in the country. But
yeah,
they need to do the same thing for an offensive coordinator too.
Wild, dude. Wild.
Yeah,
so, real quick, I do this every video. These guys don't pay me. I just really believe in what they're doing. Afterswarm, they have a forum now. They have a Substack. Let me cut over here. So they have a forum that they just started. That is where they will be breaking news. And I'll tell you, about 95% of the time they are breaking news. There's a link for them in the description. All the money that goes for that, I think it's $8 a month for the forum, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely worth it. All that money goes to Georgia Tech NIL. They don't make a dime off of it, and I can't recommend it enough. Have you been on there, C-Dog? Have you signed up for the Afterswarm forums?
Mm-mm.
What are you doing, dude?
Sorry. I'm blowing it, I guess.
Stan Garner says coaches are making commitments to their recruits just as much as the players are to them. The more I think about it, this is the kind of scummy move by Tucci. Yeah, and this is where, you have this asymmetric criticism where people will just lambaste these players for hitting the portal. But it is no different than what Tyler Santucci just did. It's no different than what any of these other coaches in the coaching carousel just did. Like, there isn't any commitment from the player to the school. There's not any commitment from the coaches to the school either, though. And that is why there's got to be some change in college football. The reason we're seeing this influx into the NFL is because these coaches are like, man, if you have a kid and you want to see them at all, you're probably going to have to go to the NFL, or if you just don't want to work yourself into an early grave, like it's gotten to a point that it's wholly unsustainable in college football today.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it's got to be the NFL that's the draw to him. If it's not the money, I mean, he had offers from other colleges too, because he was
Miami, right?
talked about for Miami and also Texas A&M, right? Because
Yeah.
Elko was there. So it's got to be that he just didn't want to do college anymore. So, I mean,
Well, then why take the job as our DC? That's kind of what I'm
it
not
totally
getting.
bones us. It totally bones us.
Yeah, and like people are right. I've seen them commenting this like we'll probably lose Buster next year. I would say 90% likely Buster will be gone by next off season.
Yeah.
So now you're going to have, both your coordinators gone. Christian Adams saying, I think our commits are committing to Key and Simpson, not Tucci. I mean, man, like I'm not trying to crap on you, but I think that's kind of a cope. Like you can't tell me that losing your DC doesn't have some kind of ramification in your recruiting. Like players are also committing to a system. So right now, the guys that are committed to you, they don't have a clue what defensive system they're going to be running. Neither does Georgia Tech. So I mean, what do you tell them? Tucci was massive in Tay Harris recruitment. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. So I guess we should talk about I guess who you'd like to see as Georgia Tech's next DC. Like, I don't really have a good idea. I don't know. I don't know what is realistic for us to get right now. And my intuition says getting another Tyler Santucci or better is going to be a tall order. And I don't know that we can necessarily do it.
I know, especially on short notice.
Yeah. Especially February, basically 4 days before your national signing day. It puts you in a rough spot. I see a lot of people talking about Jess Simpson, and I had said, look, I would be fine with that. But I'm also kind of ambivalent about it. I'm not super excited about it, and I don't necessarily have any criticism of it. I think my thing is, what kind of statement would it make if Georgia Tech went out and got, a big name DC for what they are? I just think that would be huge. I just don't know if we can do it.
Yeah, it would be great, but I just don't know. I mean, it's late in the cycle, and spring practice starts. I guess at least we have about a month to find a new DC, but I don't know. It's rough, man. It's rough. I mean, promoting from within. I was saying this on my video. I do hope that he goes with the the kind of up and comer, right? Because as opposed to the retread.
Yeah, I don't really want to see Nate Woody. I don't really. I mean, if I'm thinking of retreads, I mean, who else would be a retread that we would hire?
Just I don't know. Just any retread, it would suck, I think.
Yeah, and Mindfish brings up a good point, and that's my hesitation is he hasn't been a DC at the college level before. For this hire, I'll go through it here too. I really, I want a guy that's been a DC at the college level before. I want a guy that can recruit. I want a guy that's had experience at a big name school too, not necessarily coordinator level, but at least has experience. Some of the guys I looked at have never moved out of the MAC or the group of five. And any of that, you're taking a step back. You're taking a step back if you go with Jess Simpson probably. Looking at Jackson Caudill's article, Jason Seymour, you're taking a step back if you hire Jason Seymour. It's not anything against the guy. It's just we don't need to take a step back defensively next year.
Yeah, and it sucks too because this was kind of the year where we looked at, we were looking to as the kind of show me year, where we were supposedly going to, and if anybody was going to leave, I thought it'd be Buster.
This wasn't on my radar. Like, if I would have put the
It
gimmies in as like who's not leaving this year, and I think I might have even said it, like, I'm not worried about Tyler Santucci leaving. He's only been
Yeah.
here a year. He has a little bit more to prove before he goes somewhere else, and then just completely blindsided, man. It's like,
Exactly.
oh my God, oh shit, here we go again. Just like I'm in, San Andres.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It really sucks.
I mean, looking at Caudell's article, he's got Joe Cullen on here, Chiefs defensive line coach. I don't know if has he been in college though? It looks like he spent a good bit of his career in the pros. John Hauser, he was on my list, but he's never been outside the group of 5. He's the guy who's the DC for Ohio, the Ohio Bobcats. Now they were like the 9th ranked total defense. So Pitt defensive coordinator. I didn't watch a lot of Pitt. Randy Bates. But then they lost 7.
This past year now.
What's that?
They were horrible this past year now.
Well, they lost 7 straight games. I think their defense was pretty good. He has on here Pitt. Again, this is from Jackson Caudell on Sports Illustrated. Pitt had an absolutely stout run defense under Bates. Okay. Pitt's opponents averaged 3.2 yards per rush, which was 10th in the nation, only 116.3 rushing yards per game. Panthers' sack rate was also fairly high at just over 8%, good enough for 21st in the nation. Bates could bring his physical brand, to the flats. I guess. I also don't know what kind of recruiter he is, right? Mm-hmm. And then he's got Jonathan Patke, who's Duke's defensive coordinator, which I don't know anything about. I don't like, because it's just like, are we just going to keep hiring Duke's defensive coordinators year? I mean, how crazy would it be 2 years in a row we hire Duke's DC?
Right.
Hey, something isn't right with that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Duke is kind of there's not many teams we can bully and take their coaches and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so Duke's one of like 3 teams.
The list is very short.
Yeah. Mindfish makes a good point. He says Narduzzi's on the hot seat, so maybe Bates would be interested in getting out of there. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And like, even Zach Jones brings up a good point. Like, who's a big name out there? I had just thrown out SMU's DC, but I don't really think that's realistic either. That was just me kind of grasping for straws. Like, he's already in Texas. He's already in a fertile recruiting ground. So you don't have that to try to entice him with. SMU's going to have the money to offer him more than what you are. So I don't really know what we could offer him to get him over here.
Yeah.
Hire Manny Diaz. Yes. So we hire their DC and then we hire Duke's head coach. I like it. Look, Manny Diaz is a top defensive mind in the country. He came from Penn State before he went to Duke.
There's some jokesters that have been joking about that we need to hire Jeff Collins. No, I need y'all to cut that out.
I haven't even seen his name brought up once. I mean, there's been like 20 DC moves in the country at Power 4 programs.
Yeah.
And the only one is some mentally deranged Virginia Tech fan on his WordPress article or something that brings up, hear me out, Jeff Collins.
Well, there's people joking about us hiring him as our DC, which is kind of funny.
Brent Key would quit before that ever happened. Like, Brent Key and Jeff Collins will never be on staff together, ever. I would bet a lot of money on that. SEC referee glaucoma awareness says the whole premise of the transfer portal was based around the idea that coaches can move around at will and players should be able to do the same. They fixed the wrong problem. Well, it's just now you have both. Players every year are hitting the portal. They're basically on 1-year contracts, and then you can't trust a word for what a coach says. Can't trust a word of it.
Mm-hmm.
Rhett, you should go to Guthrie's, get that double fries, no slaw. I'll never order that.
That's what I get every time I go to Zaxby's.
I do too, but I'll never admit it because that guy's YouTube channel is absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Duke to Georgia Tech pipeline. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if there's anyone who's even done an article. Let's see, other than on forums. Yeah. Oh, what does the Facebook group have to say? Oh no, they just repost the article. That's what they like to do in the Facebook groups, if you ever notice. Like, no one gives their own opinion on anything. It's just, here's what someone else said about it. Here's an article. Like, what? I mean, do you have anything to add to the conversation? We shall see. Well,
Yeah.
I'm disappointed, and my day is ruined.
Me too, man. That was not something I freaking expected to
Yeah.
come home to. It was my opinion that I don't know. I thought it'd be Buster for sure. Because I was always like, when we hired Buster, he like didn't even come to the team until he helped Georgia win the national championship.
Gross.
So like from the beginning, he showed where his loyalties lie. So I thought if anybody was gonna take off in the middle of the night, it'd be him. But
yeah, that's what we've all been like on pins and needles waiting
Yeah.
for. And look, it could still happen.
it could still happen. Absolutely.
You could lose both
still
your
happen.
coordinators. Now, if they both happen this late in the cycle, I'm driving to Atlanta and I'm like, I need to talk to Key right now. He understands. This is bullshit.
Well, I hope if it does happen that he doesn't take any more dang coaches from freaking Georgia, or at least so many that. I mean, he's been a great hire, but you won't even come to your new job because you want to help your old one win the freaking national championship. Like, you got to get over here and start recruiting, and meet the players and study film and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like,
I was like willing to overlook that after he took us from like the 124th ranked offense. To
you
the
did a great
top
job, but
25.
it's not going to feel so great when he takes off on us. I hope that some other group of 5 team takes him
as a head coach
before Georgia.
He's been
does.
offered multiple times. I mean, and he's turned down quite a bit up to this point to stay at Georgia Tech. I guess we should talk about, like, is there anyone else that I'm worried about getting poached? Like, I mentioned Jeep Wade. I mean, I think when you look at the job he's done with the offensive line, I could see a big name school
Jeep Wade,
trying to get him. I don't know about anyone else. Like, there's no one on the defensive side that I would be worried about at the moment. On the offensive side, not really either, other than Buster. Oh, by the way, we did have 4 new additions. We haven't got to talk about it yet. I don't think we've even talked about it on the phone. We hired Brian Bohannon, which, as far as a Tech fan, I'm a little ambivalent about, but he did get majorly screwed, so I am happy on him.
Good.
Dude, are you going to comment
have
that?
On staff.
Are you going to comment that on every video? Like, there's a reason I don't pay attention to you. Yeah, the future is still bright. Yeah, it is. I don't know what to tell you. Yours might not be. Maybe that's why you're obsessed with this one. Your future personally is probably not very bright. What were we talking about before I cut you off to do that?
I don't know. Some trolls in the freaking comments.
Oh, yeah. They go to every video and comment the same stupid stuff because they don't have a life. They don't have a job. Their profession is being a
still
troll.
Bright. Oh, so as a Tech fan.
No, I don't think it is. Oh, is our future still bright?
It says, is our future still bright? Yes, it's still bright. This is a good problem to have. Like,
you know what? I have a feeling I might know who that is. I have a feeling you changed your name, and I have a feeling you got ran out of town not long ago, but I could be wrong. Yeah. There, it's interesting. Like, some of these guys that claim to be Tech fans. There's another guy that commented on my video where I was talking about that Georgia guy that was giving me grief trying to, pick up this chair, and he's like, Man, he's just joking around. Like, I root for Georgia every game, but when they play Georgia Tech, I had to read it like 3 times to make sure I was reading it correctly. I'm like, you're not a Georgia Tech. What? You root
Yeah.
if you root for Georgia in any game, you're not a Georgia Tech fan. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that Lely's alternate account or something? I don't know what to make of that. But yeah, do you know when spring practice starts?
Usually it's like at the beginning of March, right?
All right, so we're about 3 weeks away from spring practice. We don't know what defensive scheme we're going to be running. This is great.
Yeah.
Let's be positive. Key hired Buster and Santucci, so I trust he will find the right coaches. Look, I have full faith in Key. I'm just looking at like every one of these hires you make, especially for a team like Tech, where you're not just going to be able to go and throw $2-3 million at a coordinator because you're coach. And by the way, someone commented this too. I don't know what Key's restructured contract looks like. I don't know if you do.
Restructure contract? No, I don't think.
Yeah, they redid it.
It is a public institution, right? So it should be public, right?
Yeah, I just don't know if it's been put out. I don't know if it's been put out yet.
Yeah.
Buster isn't going to leave us unless it's for a good head coaching job. That's just not true. Like, again, I'm not trying to down you. I'm telling you that is not true, though. Which is unfortunate. So we got 3 weeks till spring practice comes up. What do you expect as far as timeline and making this hire?
Well, last time, remember how long it took last time to freaking hire a DC?
Yeah, it took. Well, no, I actually don't remember.
It took a while. It was like a few months before we did finally hire Tooch. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe their game would be to wait till the dust settles and take what you can get. I have no idea. Real quick, are the Ravens paying us to take Santucci? I'll be honest with you, I don't know how those contracts work, but to my knowledge, you have to buy out the rest of the coach's contract to hire him.
It should be it, but
which is kind of crazy for the Ravens too, because then they'd almost have to pony up $1 million on top of whatever he's getting to come over there.
Yeah.
First of all, who cares about the NFL anyway? Who cares, man?
Yeah. So freaking lame.
And Zach Jones is right. Like, each time you make one of these hires, it's a dice roll. You don't know how they're going to work out. So, like, yeah, the past 2 coordinators have worked out really, really well. Is the third dice roll going to roll 6s for you again?
Right.
I don't know. It's less likely every time, you would think.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to think about, like, I don't know. I do have confidence in Key's hiring ability. He's only hired what? How many has he hired that haven't worked out?
Oh, I went through this, I think, in the video. Do I still have the notes from that? I wrote down every hire. Yeah, I still got them. So if you think in the first cycle, he retained Andrew Thacker. That didn't work out.
That didn't work out.
He brings back Marco Coleman. That also didn't work out. He retained Travaris Tillman. He was fired. Jason Seymour did end up working out. He was hired as a DC at Marshall. Kevin Scherer did not work out, though I think he was put in kind of an impossible situation. He was fired, though. And then on the offensive side, we've only lost Josh Crawford, I think. Pretty sure. Then we hire Santucci. He's been hired. He hires Ricky Brumfeld. Not only does he hire Ricky Brumfeld, signs him to this massive contract extension.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, he went, full moron, and we didn't have to pay his buyout. But that rivals Jeff Collins as far as how bad he was at special teams. So that didn't end up working out. Jess Simpson seems to have worked out. I don't really have anything to say about Corey Peoples or Kyle Pope as a defensive back or, outside linebackers coach. And then we bring in Trent McKnight. Does feel like we took a step back a little bit in the wide receiver room with him, though. I do think we downgraded from Josh Crawford to Trent McKnight.
Yeah.
And then we bring in Kobe Jones for cornerbacks, Mike Polly as assistant offensive line coach, Brian Bohannon as senior offensive analyst. And then this Emil Ekiyor Jr., who I don't think has any coaching experience whatsoever, but he played with Key at Alabama.
Well, at least did you count the coaches that did work out?
Yeah,
I mean,
Buster
we still
Faulkner.
have
Buster
quite a
Faulkner.
few. Winky. Well, no, he didn't hire Winky.
Winky he retained though, so I credit him with that. Like,
Okay.
if you're gonna bash him for retaining Thacker, you got to give him credit for retaining Winky. He
I
could have
wouldn't
fired
even,
Winky.
honestly. I know I get that. I get why you're doing it, but honestly, I would have probably done the same thing and retain Thacker because Thacker was doing a good job at the time.
I was a defender of Thacker for a while.
I was.
But yeah, he worked. Josh Crawford obviously worked out. Norval McKenzie has worked out, I think. Trent McKnight, I think the jury's still out on. Obviously, Santucci worked out. And then I said Jess Simpson.
Yeah.
So I think he's above 500 on his hires.
Yeah.
And look, no coach is going to be batting 1,000 in coordinator hires. Look at Miami. They're batting like 10.1. I mean, they've been in a carousel of not only firing coaches every 3 years, but firing coordinators every year. Isn't this Lance Guidry? Wasn't that his first year at Miami, or was it his second or third? I'm not sure.
Second.
Yeah, not great. And then the other end of it, like with Tech, when you have a lot of success with your hires, then they're apt to get poached away.
Yeah.
So $850K is the contract buyout, except that might just be if he leaves for another position. They might have left a smaller buyout if he leaves for the NFL. I don't know why you would, especially with the current landscape of college football. I mean, I would not. Again, I don't know contracts, but I wouldn't separate between the two of them. I would just say, if you're hiring my coordinator, you got to pay me. I honestly don't think there will be a fall off in defensive play from last year to next season, but you don't even know who the DC is going to be. You don't know what recruits you're going to lose. You also don't know what kind of recruiter he's going to be. So I don't know. I mean, look, we're in desperate need of defensive linemen right now. And you can't just talk about recruiting conventionally. They've got to come in, whoever the DC is, and bring some people in the portal on super short notice, defensive linemen.
Yeah. I was already like sketched out on if we could, do it on defensively, because we still had the freaking issue of consistency with the D line, or trying to build that room up really from getting, gutted a couple years ago.
Yeah, and let me just put in perspective what you're losing. Georgia Tech had the 129th ranked rush defense under Andrew Thacker and Kevin Scher. This last year, we had the 24th ranked rush defense.
Mm-hmm.
So another 100 spots better. I mean, it's a huge loss. No, this DC pick will decide next season. Yeah, because look, you're going to struggle on offense some. Like, I don't know how healthy Haynes King will remain throughout next season. If he plays like he did this year, where he doesn't slide, he's going to get hurt. I mean, he's just going to. You're going to need your defense to help you out. And if we've got to score 35 or more points to win every game, we're not going to be above 500. We're just not. I guess I'll pull up next year's schedule here. We did go over it. I know both of us in a video. Georgia Tech.
I didn't go over it yet. I made the video, but I didn't finish it. That's how freaking busy I've been. But
yeah, we've both been pretty busy.
Yeah.
Colorado, at Colorado is going to be kind of tough, even though I'm not that confident in Deion. I'm not super worried about Colorado next year. Garner Webb, nothing to talk about. Clemson, you're going to need a defense to go up there or to beat Clemson at Bobby Dodd. That'll be at home. That's a tough game in the first third of your season. Then we got Temple. Hopefully we can score more than 2 points against them. Wake is, unless they end up being the next Syracuse, should be nothing to worry about. Has Wake hired a head coach? You would think they have, because that guy stepped down a while ago, Dave Clawson.
Let me look it up. That's crazy. They're how do I not know? Let's see.
Jake Dickert is a 33rd coach. Looks like a younger cat. He was the head coach at Washington State. So they kind of benefited from how much of a disaster the Pac-12 ended up being. Those two teams. Man, Washington State, if you feel bad about what's happened with RDC and what, this turnover, just think of Washington State.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Jeez. So they do hire Washington State's coach. We get a bye. Then we get Virginia Tech. What do you expect from Virginia Tech next year?
I don't know. I was saying it's kind of interesting to see their progression because Coach Key and Bry were hired at the same time, right? So it's kind of been interesting to see them together and their progress as coaches, in
Same
how their
name,
program,
same
their programs of how they've progressed. So, what do I expect out of them? I don't know. We get them at home, but I haven't followed. In there, is Drone still their guy, or is it
I feel like
guy?
he was a senior this year. He's been there a while.
Yeah.
Let's see. Again, it is hard to tell these days because everyone just bitches and then they get another year of eligibility.
Yeah.
What is he listed as? He's listed as a redshirt junior, so maybe he does have another year back. But yeah, I don't know what to expect from Virginia Tech. Then we got at Duke. I'm not going to be worried about Duke until they give me a reason to be worried about them. For whatever reason you talked about it, that's the one team we can push around in this conference other than
We just
North
kind of
Carolina.
own them.
Yeah, and we don't get to even play North Carolina, which is a tragedy.
I know. Them and Miami, both freaking Dodgers.
How sorry.
And then we get Clemson back.
We get Clemson, and then we get Boston College and Pitt. I don't think we played Pitt last year. Got a $10 super chat from Zach Jones. Says Clemson made an insane DC hire that will keep them on top of the ACC. They will allow points, and we will allow points to teams like Pitt, Colorado, Duke, etc. Schedule just got harder. Give me 8-4. L's to Colorado, Clemson, Boston College, and Georgia. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to give us a prediction right now with not having a DC. I am excited about a grudge match with Syracuse. They might be, you do the teams I want to beat the most. They would be up there this next year for me.
Oh, wait, so who did they hire as DC? Clemson? I'm sorry.
Clemson hired, let me see, I have it written down. They hired a big name.
Really?
Penn State's DC, Tom Allen.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no telling what they're
and then
paying
it
him.
says here that Oklahoma Brent Venables hires Wes Goodwin as an analyst. That's funny. The guy that Clemson fired. They're so incestuous.
Yeah, Brent Venables and Dabo Sweeney, they love hiring each other's and promoting from within every time. And this is like you're seeing things out of Dabo Sweeney you've never seen before. He almost always promotes from within, which worked out for a while. Now he's using the portal, evidently. Now he's, I guess, Jesus told him NIL was not as big a deal as he thought. I don't know.
So yeah, I do think we lose to Clemson, unfortunately.
I'm not going to pick us to beat Clemson until we beat them at least once.
It's been 9 years. Yeah, it's been 9 years since we beat those bastards. We never freaking beat them. It pisses me off.
Yeah, then we go on the road to NC State, who I just have a feeling they're going to be pretty decent this coming up year. They probably should have beat us last year going into the Georgia game. I know we had a hell of a time out there. Then we get a bye, Boston College. I just think at Boston College that Remind me their coach's name.
Bill
Bill
O'Brien.
O'Brien. Bill O'Brien. Yeah, I just think he's going to have them playing pretty well this year. Who knows with Pitt and Pat Narduzzi? He seems to be pretty good about bouncing back, though he has had two disappointing seasons in a row. And then obviously we wiped the floor with Georgia.
They were shaping up. That's so freaking unexplainable how bad they wound up being in the end. I cannot believe that they started out 7-0.
I've never seen that.
And then completely collapsed. I picked against them in their bowl game too because I knew. I mean, that's just an epic collapse. I mean,
yeah,
one of the worst I've seen.
Remember that guy that came in the comment section all the time? Who was that Pitt fan? Man, Talkis Pitt was talking some mad shit, and then after like that second loss, he was like, "Dude, screw this."
Yeah.
I probably would have done the same thing if I didn't have a YouTube channel. I'd be like, "Yeah, this ain't working out."
Yeah, must be nice.
But anyways, yeah, like I'm kind of down. Like I don't have a lot to say about it. I don't have a good grasp of who we're gonna hire. I am really worried about it. And if I had to guess, like we're not gonna get someone as good as Tooch was for us. That's just what kind of my feeling on it is.
I don't think so either.
Hire Thacker back. That's another one. You'll never see Kean Thacker or Coleman on a staff again with each other. The guy I've cracked, just keep an eye on Athens is all I'll say. The guy I have cracked. You think we're going to hire someone from UGA? Are you saying Muschamp? Is that what you're saying?
Not Muschamp.
He's gone. He's gone to every enemy of Georgia and just completely ruined their program.
Yeah. So like, what we're gonna have two Georgia fans as our coordinators.
Well, Muschamp graduated from Georgia, I think, or I know he played there.
He's a secret agent.
Yeah, he went to Florida first, right?
Yeah.
Now he did beat Georgia without throwing a pass, I think, which was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
And then he beat him at South Carolina too. I just forgot. It was like the first time in AP poll history that a top 5 ranked team had lost to an unranked Power 4.
That's awesome.
Appreciate the $5 from Zach Jones. Says Pitt's quarterback Holstein, freshman last year, was playing like a senior. He was a top 5 quarterback in the ACC. Then he got hurt. They started losing when he got hurt. Well, that makes sense. Ted Roof is available. No, that would be another retread. What has Ted Roof done in the past decade that anyone would care about?
Yeah,
nothing. If you can't get Freddie Roach,
that's the kind of retread hire I was talking about. Like
that would be classic Georgia Tech too.
Yeah,
he went. I think once he left Tech, he was the interim coach for a bowl. Then I think he went to Duke and was awful. And then I don't know. He bounced around from teams every other year.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I was saying, the off season's usually a time to relax and have your head in the clouds where next year is going to be great. And damn it, we can't do that anymore.
I know, man. I know. I was looking forward to this upcoming year, but now I'm not so sure. I mean, defensively at least. I mean, hopefully, I don't know. This sucks.
Well, someone said we should hire Alabama Jones. Bring old
Alabama Jones as DC.
Yeah,
I'd take him.
Well,
I think he'd do all right.
Key has history with him, man.
Yeah.
And he could be like, look, dude, every time you shut someone out, you can just hold a press conference about Shane Gillis. Tell him what's up.
Yeah. Alabama Jones.
he got super in his feelings about that. But yeah, I don't think they've announced. Have they announced the spring game? I don't think they have yet, but I'm sure we'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll be there for sure. That's always a fun time, hanging out with everybody.
Most
Always-
definitely. Yeah, they haven't announced it. Well, look, man, I don't have anything else. I know we kind of get to bed pretty early
Yeah.
these days. Was there anything else we need to talk about? Is there anything the people need to know about?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
I'm with you. Have faith in the Batman. I like it, dude. Batman's going to come to the rescue. We're going to make a hire. It's going to turn heads. We're going to have a $2 million defensive coordinator. That's what we're going to do.
That would be nice if we would pull a Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, I can laugh at Penn State for overpaying for the wrong side of the ball, but
Yeah.
but I mean, at least they care, I guess.
Well, I can tell you this. I hope the Ravens suck. And just like players that leave Georgia Tech now, everyone's getting paid. I don't feel like, oh, I necessarily wish the best on them. I hope the worst for Santucci. You screwed us. You're going to the Ravens. I hope you have the worst linebacker core in the NFL. And it is what it is. So
I agree.
the hell with him. Appreciate everyone that came in. Thank you, C-Dog, for stopping by and talking shop with us. I'm sure we'll be doing live shows a little more regularly. Hope y'all have a great night, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Y'all have a good one.